You're working a repo job for a dealership in Strawberry, repossessing a bravado Buffalo from a guy 3 payments behind. Simple work. Legal, mostly. You're good at finding people who don't want to be found, good at staying calm when the situation turns loud, which it always does. The guy comes out swinging a bat and you drive off with a split lip and $40 in commission. That's Tuesday. That's your life. Then Franklin introduces you to Michael. You don't know it yet, but the moment you step into that Rockford Hills mansion and shake hands with a man who has a government file that officially lists him as dead, your old life closes like a door someone just locked from the other side. Michael looks at you like he's reading a balance sheet. He sees the repo work, the street instincts, the hunger you've been managing since you were 16. He makes you an offer that isn't really an offer. It's a direction. You either walk toward it or you spend the rest of your life parallel parking other people's cars. You walk toward it. The first job is a jewelry store on Portola Drive. 4 minutes in and out, no names, clean vests, no unnecessary casualties. You run the crew. You make the calls on the floor while Michael handles the exit and Trevor, who you have not yet decided how to feel about, handles the van. Everything goes wrong in the final 90 seconds the way everything always goes wrong when human beings are involved. A guard reaches for a radio. You make a decision in under a second. Nobody dies, but a man goes home with a dislocated shoulder and a story he won't tell cleanly. The take is $201,000 before fencing. Your cut is less than you expected and more than you've ever held. You don't celebrate. You sit in your apartment in Strawberry and you count it twice, and you understand that the number is not the point. The access is the point. Over the next several months, you move through Los Santos like a current. You learn that the city has layers most people never see. The Merriweather contracts running through front companies, the FIB handlers who use criminals like tools and discard them when the political exposure gets inconvenient, the real estate empires built on laundered proceeds, the politicians whose careers depend on the same people they publicly prosecute. You are not powerful yet, but you are useful. And in this city, useful buys you proximity to power faster than almost anything else. You take that proximity seriously. You study it. The Paleto Bay bank job nearly ends everything. You lose someone you didn't expect to care about losing. You take a round in the vest that cracks 2 ribs and you drive 43 miles with your vision tunneling, making decisions about the route based on scanner chatter you can barely process through the pain. You deliver the crew safe. You don't talk about the ribs for 3 days. Trevor finds out anyway. He doesn't say anything directly, which is the closest Trevor gets to respect. By the time you're inside the Union Depository heist, you've stopped thinking about the work in terms of right and wrong. You think in terms of leverage, exposure, exit strategy, and consequence management. That shift happened somewhere around month 4, and you noticed it the way you noticed that you've been driving for 2 hours without remembering the road. The moral architecture is still there. You still have lines, but they're your lines now, drawn by experience rather than inherited from people who never had to make your choices. The Triads, the Ballas, the FIB, Devin Weston, they all want pieces of something, and the pieces overlap in ways that make every alliance a liability. You learn to hold multiple relationships in tension, to give each party just enough truth to stay credible and just enough ambiguity to stay mobile. It exhausts you. You get good at hiding that too. The final heist, the Union Depository, nets you more money than you expected to see in your lifetime. Your cut arrives and it sits in an offshore account accessed through a shell company registered to a man who doesn't exist. You are, on paper, still a man who repossesses cars. You still know Strawberry. You still know what $40 feels like after a split lip. What you don't know is whether any of this ends. The FIB still has your name in a file somewhere. Weston still has friends with resources. Trevor is Trevor, which is its own category of ongoing consequence. You sit on the roof of your new property in Vinewood Hills at 2 in the morning, watching the city grid below you pulse with money and violence and motion, and you understand that you haven't escaped anything. You've just moved to a higher floor of the same building. The exits are fewer up here. The view is better. You're not sure that's a trade you regret. You're not sure you're allowed to.